Broadcasting live from the Meridian via OBS Studio Broadcast Center at Centennial Sportsplex. This is GNASH Hockey on the Middle Tennessee Sports Network as we move on to the second game of our doubleheader. The 2-7 game in the Predators Cup. 7-seed Nolensville, 1/3 of the defending champs, taking on 2-seed Montgomery Bell. And after what we just witnessed, 8-seed Station Camp beating 1-seed Ravenwood, is there a chance for the low seed to beat a high seed again? We shall see. And it's already 1-0 Page Summit over Ensworth Lipscomb CPA over on Rink B in the 3-versus-6 game as both teams hit the ice for the pregame warm-up here. So let's talk about the two teams playing the nightcap of our doubleheader. Nolensville, coached by Ty Johns, finished the regular season 8-4-3. They and Ensworth finished on the same wins, so they were ranked ahead of Nolensville, who have not played in 2 weeks. So let's go over their final regular season stats. Scroll down and find them here. The standings, there we go. Charlie Bonnert, Henry Cravens, and Spencer Kern all had 21 points. Bonnert for 14 goals and 7 assists. Cravens and Kern both from 10 points and 11 assists. Jackson Malleus-Mayer had 15 points from 9 goals and 6 assists. Logan Campbell, 13 points from 7 goals and 6 assists. Emmett Zako, 7 points from 3 goals and 4 assists. Carson Roganchik, 6 points from 3 goals and 3 assists. Heath Hudi, 5 points from a goal and 4 assists. Hank Prosser, 4 points from a goal and 3 assists. Thomas Renegar, 4 points from 2 goals and 2 assists. Grant Phelps, 2 points from assists. Ben Campbell, a point from a goal, a point from an assist. Judah Campbell, a point from a goal. And Annie Cravens with a point from an assist. On to goalie play, Bingston Soundara played in 13 games. All 13 of them were starts. His final regular season record, 6-3-2, played 485 minutes, goals against average of 2.25, 1 shutout. He allowed 26 goals and 325 shots, turned away the other 299. His save percentage in the regular season was .920. Isaac Wank played in 6 games. 2 of those were starts. His final record, 2-1-1. He played 144 minutes, goals against average of 6.42. No shutouts. He allowed 22 goals and 84 shots. Turned away the other 62. His save percentage in the regular season was .738. On to NBA, coached by Max Wutsky, finished the regular season 10-3-2 in a 3-way tie with Page and Hendersonville. And they ended up winning the tiebreaker on goal difference, so they are the 2 seeds. So here are their regular season stats coming into tonight. Matthew Moore was the leading scorer, 33 points from 17 goals and 16 assists. Trey Scram, 32 points from 13 goals and 19 assists. Duke Dalba, 19 points from 15 goals and 4 assists. Abe Lasher, 19 points from 10 goals and 9 assists. Andrew Freck, 17 points from 5 goals and 12 assists. Ethan Side, 16 points from 8 goals and 8 assists. James Lehrman, 9 points from 3 goals and 6 assists. Ethan Moore, 9 points from 6 goals and 3 assists. Lawson Brown, 7 points from 3 goals and 4 assists. Hunter Musser, 7 points from 3 goals and 4 assists. Cortland Klett, 7 points from 4 goals and 3 assists. Hudson Higgins, 6 points from 2 goals and 4 assists. Connor Mazzoni, 4 points from 2 goals and 2 assists. Henry Burke, Ben Eady, and Archer Reynolds all had 2 points from a goal and an assist. Louis Jalovic had a point from an assist. Locke Ross a point from a goal, and Matias Zanetti had a point from an assist. On to goalie play, Trip Bland played in all 15 games, started all 15 games. His final record the same as the team's, 10-3-2. He played 623 minutes, goals against average of 2.43, 1 shutout. He allowed 36 goals on 295 shots, turned away the other 259. His save percentage in the regular season was .878. Parker Eves played in 1 game. That was part of the 3rd period of the game against Brentwood back in November. They brought him in for how long? They brought him in for 4 minutes. He allowed 3 goals on 5 shots, so they yanked him. So he ended the regular season with a goals against average of 31.5 and a save percentage of 400. As the warm-up clock is run down to 0. These two teams played to a 3-3 tie back in November 17th. The winner of this game will play the Page-Ensworth winner next Wednesday night in the 8:45 winners bracket semi, while the loser will play the Page-Ensworth loser this Monday at 8:15 on the Terry Crisbrink in Bellevue. And I was going to do that game until Ravenwood lost to Station Camp. And now I'm going to do that Hendersonville-Ravenwood game here on Monday because a top 4 seed is going to get knocked out of the Preds Cup. Ready to go with the start of this one. Bingston Soundara going to start in goal for Nolensville. Trip Bland going to start in goal for NBA for this first period. NBA will carry the puck my left to right, Nolensville from my right to left. So with a top 4 seed going out on Monday and the loser of that Hendersonville-Ravenwood game, big opportunity for one of these two teams to maybe swoop in and swipe the cup. As Nolensville win the draw to start the game. Here's Jackson Malleus-Mayer with a backhander from the bottom of the right circle, and it'll be turned away by Bland. So Bland having to turn away his shot within the first 10 seconds of the game. Puck now in the Nolensville zone. Matthew Moore in the left wing corner. Passing up to the left point. And that pass to the slot was intercepted for a moment. Andrew Frick with it now, try to put it in front for Trace Graham. It was knocked away. Now the puck carried to center by Spencer Kern and dumped back into the NBA zone. Puck behind the net, Kern. Got away from him as it drifted to the near side. Matthew Moore flips it through the air back to center. Back into the Nolensville zone, and the Knights come out with it. Spencer Kern, right point of the NBA zone with a shot that's gloved and held onto by Bland. And we have our first whistle after the first 54 seconds. Draws to the right of Bland. It's won by Nolensville, and the puck ends up being cleared into the NBA bench. Actually, I think that may have been an NBA player who cleared it into his own bench. He'll drop it to the right of Bland again. Won by NBA. Puck sent around the boards to the far side. Duke Dalba tried to deflect it out. It's held in at the right point. Oh, and they call a hand pass. Thomas Renegard knocked it down at the right point, and Logan Campbell touched it up. So hand pass. They'll drop it on the dot in front of the bleachers across from the NBA bench at center. NBA win the draw, send it into the Nolensville zone down the far side. Picked up by Emmett Zakos, whipped around the boards and out. It's back in the NBA end on the stick of James Lehrman. Across to Lawson Brown, who backhands it out to center. Now Logan Campbell picks it up, brings it back into the NBA zone. Puck goes down to the end boards, puck sent around to the near side. And it's going to go all the way down to the Nolensville end. No icing, it's waved off. Puck out at center. Matthew Moore brings it back into the back into the Nolensville zone, but he runs into Campbell. Now Thomas Renegard with the puck for Nolensville, banked off the near boards. Puck sent around the boards to the far side, held in at the left half wall by Connor Mazzoni. Clearing attempt held in by Mazzoni at the left point. Moore putting it behind the net again. Puck whipped around to the far side, held in by Mazzoni again at the left point. Sent around the kick plate to the right wing corner, and Andrew Freck. Brought back out to the far side by Trace Graham. He's out at the blue line. Trying to find space, gets off a shot that's blocked away by Bingston Soundara. Puck trickles out to center. Judah Campbell sends it back into the NBA zone. Mazzoni with it. Passes up the far side. And now here's Matthew Moore, left wing side of the Nolensville zone, runs into Henry Cravens and falls down. Luke Doble clears the puck. Duke Dalba tried to poke it along, taken back by Malleus Mayer, right wing side of the NBA zone. Malleus Mayer pushed into the boards. Puck coming up towards the right point. Henry Cravens moved down the right wing boards to keep it in possession. The shot in the bottom of the right circle misses the net. That was from Carson Roganchik. Puck held into the left point by Ben Campbell. Passed out to the blue line, and Henry Cravens slap shot over the net. Here's Spencer Kern going below the goal line on the left wing side. Round the back of the NBA net. Backhanding it up to the right point, and Cravens. Passing back down the wall to Kern, who backhands it further down deep. Roganchik wanted to put it in front. Louis Jalovic met him and knocked that down with his stick. Puck cleared out by Cortland Klett. Ben Campbell just about kept it in the zone, but it went off his stick and out. Puck sent back in by Nolensville. No icing. It'll be picked up by Abe Lasher on the near side. Lasher and Duke Dalbo will certainly be the offensive leaders next year, with Matthew Moore and Trace Graham bidding farewell once this season is over. Now Lasher back into the Nolensville zone on the right wing side. Had the puck poked off his stick and out. Jackson Malleus Mayer grabs it at center. Brings it back into the NBA zone on the right wing side. Tried to backhand it to the front of the net. Ethan Moore blocked that pass, or blocked that soft shot attempt. Now the puck out at center, Cortland Klett. Had it poked off his stick right at the Nolensville blue line by Charlie Bonner, who dropped his stick. Here's Logan Campbell at the NBA blue line, dropping it back. Pass to the near side, Emmett Zakos. Dumps it back into the NBA zone, hard off the boards. Puck pass to the near side. Charlie Bonner out of the blue line. Puck drifts out to center. Matthew Moore pokes it away, and then Emmett Zakos comes in and takes it away from Moore. Puck to the inboards of the NBA zone. Here's James Lehrman. Passing it up the far side. Knocked down by Thomas Renegar. Renegar sending it around the wall to the near side. Now Renegar with it again on the far side. Passes it out to center on the near side. Bonnert. Bonnert sends it back into the NBA zone off the stick of Heath Hudie. Big Red clear it out. Puck back in the Nolensville zone, picked up by Henry Cravens. Puck sent back the other way from the NBA blue line towards the front of the Nolensville net. Steered away by Soundara with his stick. And now a shot from the slot, and James Lehrman, Andrew Freck, goes past the net to the right of Soundara. Here's Henry Cravens at center. Had the puck poked away from him right when he got back to the NBA blue line. It's going to be iced by Matthew Moore. We just had ourselves a nice 4+ minute stretch without a whistle. 7:52 to go in the first. No goals on the board. Draw to the left of Bland, Trip Bland, won by Nolensville. Henry Cravens sending it down the wall into the right wing corner. Spencer Kern battling on the inboards with Ethan Moore. Puck comes back up the far side. Carson Roganchik with it, trying to move it towards the front of the NBA net. Couldn't keep it in possession. Here is Abe Lasher through center. Back into the Nolensville zone on the right wing side. Trying to put it in front for Ethan Moore. Shot stopped by Soundara, who came out to stop him. Now there's a shot from the right point in Cortland Klett. That's stopped by Soundara. Back the other way comes Spencer Kern. Left wing side of the NBA zone. He stops, moves towards the wall, try to pass it in front to Cravens. That was broken up and cleared out. Heath Hudie brings the puck back into the NBA zone but fumbles it. Abe Lasher clears it out at the far side. Emmett Zakos will clear it out of the Nolensville zone on the far side. Now Logan Campbell brings it back into the NBA zone. Puck knocked off his stick. Hudie holds it in at the right point. Tried to backhand it down the wall. Intercepted and carried out by Matthew Moore. Moore, left wing side of the Nolensville zone. Past the slot. And it went off the stick of Duke Dalba. And then a follow-up shot from Trace Graham in the slot was turned away by Soundara. Puck coming over to the far boards. It's out at center. Heath Hudie brings it back into the NBA zone. Drops it back on the right wing side. Charlie Bonner tried to go to the slot. Puck got away from him. Andrew Freck clears it out with help from Matthew Moore. Puck back in the Nolensville zone. Cleared out by the Knights. Here is Henry Burke passing to the far side. Mazzoni. Connor Mazzoni. Passing up the near side. And it's sent back into the NBA zone. Cleared out by Mazzoni again. Here is Andrew Freck through center. Back into the Nolensville zone on the left wing. Trying to go to the front of the net. His shot stopped by Soundara. And we have an NBA player down near the right-hand side. Oh, it's Freck. Freck down near the right-hand side of the Nolensville net. 5:42 to go in the first. Still zip. And Max Wutzke, the head coach, will leave the bench and go check on Freck. TOA trainer out there as well, checking on Freck. Again, 5:42 to go in the first. No goals on the board. And Freck back to his skates. And he will skate back to the NBA bench on his own. Draw was on the dot in front of the Nolensville bench. Won by the Knights as play resumes. The puck back in the NBA zone. Quickly brought out to center by Ethan Moore. Left wing side of the Nolensville end. He ran into Henry Cravens and lost the puck. Big battle for the puck at the left half wall. Nolensville tried to clear it out. Held into the left point. A shot from Lawson Brown turned away by Soundara. And we get a whistle as the net had come loose. Draw is going to be to the left of Soundara. Won by NBA and a shot from the right point. And Abe Lasher hit something in front and went way into the netting above the glass in the left wing corner. Draw to Soundara's left. Here is Trace Graham with a slot, a shot. Oh, missed the net. Got to the slot and got near the front of the net and missed it. Here's Spencer Kern now back in the NBA zone trying to pass the slot. Clearing attempt whiffed on by Matthew Moore. Abe Lasher able to get to it and eventually clear from the slot. Sent back the other way by Nolensville. Deep to the inboards of the NBA zone. Louis Jerlovic up. Couldn't get to the puck in the left wing corner. Carson Roganchik sending it around towards the far side. Here's Abe Lasher. Clearing it out. Ben Campbell inside his own zone. Banks it off the near boards to Roganchik at center. He then dropped it back right into the stick of Trace Graham. Graham back in the Nolensville zone on the left wing side. Takes a shot from the boards, turned away by Soundara. And then another shot from the right wing boards, gloved and held onto by Soundara. That may have been for Matthew Moore. 4:17 to go in the first, and we're still looking for the game's first goal. NBA out shooting Nolensville 8-2 at the moment. Draw is to the left of Soundara. Won by NBA. Here's Cortland Klett. Coming out in front, a shot stopped by Soundara. And then the net knocked loose again. And they blow the whistle for it once more. Draws to Soundara's left. It's one by Nolensville, brought to center, Charlie Bonnert. Bonnert, right wing side of the NBA zone. Going around the back of the net. Puck poked off his stick by Ethan Moore. Here's Cortland Klett on the near side. Carries to center. Klett had the puck taken away from him right at the Nolensville blue line. Emmett Zakos back in the NBA zone. Henry Burke trying to take the puck away. Puck in the left wing corner. Drifting out towards the slot. Picked up by Ethan Moore. Hands it off to Duke Dalba. Dalba backhands it to the near side, and Henry Burke tried to get it ahead to Klett, who deflected it back into the Nolensville zone, and he'll go to the bench for a change. Puck on the far side. Logan Campbell clears. Judah Campbell dumps it back into the NBA zone. James Lehrman tried to pass it ahead. It went off the stick of the younger Campbell. Matthew Moore able to clear it out, but it's going to go for an icing. 3:04 to go in the first inning. Still no goals on the board in this one. Draw is going to be to Trip Bland's right. One by Nolensville. Judah Campbell shot from the top of the left circle, stopping it on to by Bland. Draw be to Bland's right again. One by Nolensville. Puck sent around the boards to the far side from the left point. It's out at center, picked up by Ethan Sides. Sides left wing side of the Nolensville zone. Takes a shot, stopped and held on to by Soundara. NBA completely dominating puck possession right now. That was their 10th shot on goal so far. Draw is going to be to Soundara's right. One by Nolensville. Here is Henry Cravens. Around the back of his own net to the near side. Falls over trying to bring it out of the zone. Here's Trace Graham trying to go to the front of the net with a shot. Score! Trace Graham goes to the front of the Nolensville net, backhands it in. First goal of the game to NBA. And they're up 1-0 with 2:34 to go in the first. NBA with a puck in their own zone. Abe Lasher's going to end up icing it. Nope, they waved it off. Soundara out of his net to send it around to the near side. And Owens will bring it out to center. Spencer Kern flips it on goal from just behind the blue line. Bounces up in the air and Bland gloves it for the whistle. 2:03 to go in the first. 1-0 NBA. Draws to Bland's left. It's won by Nolensville. Shot from Emmett Zakos at the center point. Blocked. Louis Jalovic had it jumping around in his shirt in front of his jersey sweater, and he was able to knock it down and clear it out eventually. Puck back in the Nolensville zone. Here's Carson Roganchik. Sending it out to center off the stick of Matthew Moore back into the NBA zone. Quickly cleared out by the Big Red. Here is Thomas Renegar trying to clear it out up the far side of the Nolensville zone, and he does. Battle for the puck right at the Nolensville blue line between Matthew Moore Carson Roganchik and Spencer Kern, and Moore forces the puck back into the Nolensville zone. Here's a wraparound try. Actually, not a wraparound try. A shot from Trace Graham at the bottom of the left circle. Gloved and held on to by Soundara. 78 seconds left in the first. 1-0 NBA. As they have totally dominated this Nolensville team so far. Draws to Soundara's right. Won by NBA and a shot in the slot, and Trace Graham blockered away by Soundara. Back the other way come the Knights. Henry Cravens leaves it at the right point for Logan Campbell, but it was intercepted. However, we're going to have a penalty against NBA, it looks like. We're going to have a hooking call against Ethan Sides. So Nolensville get the first power play of the game, trailing 1-0 with 64 seconds to go in the first. Draw is going to be to the left of Trip Bland. It's won by Nolensville. Spencer Kern right point, passing to the center point, Henry Cravens. Cravens fakes a shot and takes a shot, turned away by Bland. We're inside the final minute of the first now. Puck out at center. Back in the Nolensville zone. Cravens passing it up the far side to Kern. Kern goes back into his own zone, then passes to the near side for Cravens, who banks it off the near boards. Logan Campbell drops it back, taken by Andrew Freck, who's going to fire it back into the Nolensville zone. 30 seconds left in the period. Henry Cravens through center, back into the NBA zone on the right wing side. It's pushed into the boards. Here's Logan Campbell, passing up to the left point, Charlie Bonnert. Bonnert with a shot, stopped by Kern, rebound, score! Sorry, stopped by Bland, rebound, score. It's Spencer Kern in the bottom of the right circle. Rebound came to Kern in the bottom of the right circle, and he one-times it in to tie the game. As Nolensville convert the power play, and it's 1-1 with 13.5 seconds to go in the first. Puck in the Nolensville zone. Henry Cravens will clear it out. Backhanded back into the NBA zone. Judah Campbell with a shot from the right circle, misses the net to Bland's left, and that's it for the first. Well, each side scored a goal late. Trace Graham scoring the opener with just over 2.5 minutes left in the period. And then with 13.5 seconds left in the period, Spencer Kern with a one-timer rebound try on the power play. And at the end of one, Nolensville and Montgomery Bell are tied in this Predators Cup first-round game. I'll be back in a few seconds with the start of the second, but if you're listening on the YouTube podcast, we're going to go ahead and take you to the start of the second period. Ready to start the second period of this one. Bingston Soundara still in goal for Nolensville. Trip Bland still in goal for NBA. This second period, Nolensville will carry the puck from my left to right, NBA from my right to left. Update from Rink B. Page Summit still leading Innsworth Lipscomb CPA 1-0 in the second. Madden Chandler scored a minute 47 in, and that goal has held up ever since. Puck deep in the NBA zone as the second period is underway. Sent to the Nolensville blue line and quickly sent back the other way by Emmett Zakos. Andrew Freck at center on the near side. Backhands it back into the Nolensville zone. It would have gone past the net to Bingston Soundara's right, but he stops it with his stick and covers to get the whistle. 13:25 to go in the second, 1-1. Draw be to Soundara's right. Draw one by NBA and a backhanded try from Duke Dalba at the top of the left circle was blocked. Charlie Bonnert trying to clear it out, held in by Dalba. Puck coming to the slot. Knocked away by Ben Campbell, carried out to center by Bonnert. Charlie Bonnert, left wing side of the NBA zone. Pass in front, Heath Hewdy whiffed on it in the slot. Held in by Logan Campbell. Campbell, around the back of the net, wanted to put it out in front, was prevented from doing so. Puck on the far side. And cleared out. Now here's Duke Dalba, down the right wing, back into the Nolensville zone with a shot over the net. Tried to put it out in front, it ended up coming to the left-hand side of the net where it's covered up by Soundara. 12:49 to go in the second, 1-1. Now it's 2-0 Page. Hudson Halters with a goal near the halfway point of the second. Draw to the left of Soundara, won by NBA. Connor Mazzoni shot in the blue line, turned away by Soundara. Puck on the near boards. Coming up to the left point, Mazzoni shot hit the left skate of Emmett Zakos, went to the far side. Zakos sending the puck around to the near side. Puck put out in front. Trace Graham shot in the right dot, turned away by Soundara, and the rebound flipped across the front of the net by Ethan Sides. Then a shot from Mazzoni blocked. Now here's Sides, bottom of the right circle, shot went through the crease. Soundara got a piece of it to steer it by. Puck on the far side, here's Sides again, right point. Sending it down the wall. Graham had to go off his stick and stop in the right wing corner. Charlie Bonnert clears. It's going to be on goal. Trip Bland having to make the save. He'll hand it off to Mazzoni. Connor Mazzoni. Out to center. Dumps it into the Nolensville zone. Soundara behind the net. Chips it to the far side. Here's Emmett Zakos backhanding it up the far boards. Trace Graham had it for a moment. Was taken away and cleared out. Judah Campbell at center. Tried to dump it into the NBA zone and hit Connor Mazzoni. And then Campbell fell over, and he's still down. Now he's getting back to his feet. 11:26 to go in the second. The game is tied at 1. And we're ready to resume play. Draw on the dot in front of the Nolensville bench. One by the Big Reds, sent into the Nolensville zone. On goal, Soundara makes the save, hands it off to Henry Cravens. Cravens carries it out to center, sends it back into the NBA zone, quickly cleared out, and then brought back in by Cravens, but Spencer Kern was still in the zone, so offside. Draw is going to be on the dot in front of the Nolensville bench again. Won by the Knights. Here is Jackson Malleus-Mayer, shot in the high slot off the right leg pad of Bland. Back the other way. Come NBA, and the puck went off the stick of Duke Dalba up in the air. And Ethan Moore crossed over the Nolensville blue line before it came in and touched it up offside. 10:54 to go in the second, still 1-1. Drawing the dot in front of the bleachers across from the NBA bench. Won by the Big Red. Lewis Jalovic, left wing side of the Nolensville zone. Whiffs on a shot attempt. Tried to send the puck to the front of the net. Intercepted by Spencer Kern. Passes up the near side, Carson Roganchik. He passes across to the far side, and Cortland Klett. Sent back the other way by NBA for an icing. Was Abe Lasher trying to send it up ice. Ends up triggering the icing whistle. Draw is going to be to the right of Bland. It's won by NBA. Puck sent around the boards to the far side. Here's Trace Graham up. Pass to the middle of the ice, intercepted by Logan Campbell, then taken back by Matthew Moore and brought back into the Nolensville zone. Moore had the puck knocked off his stick, gets it back, moving out towards the blue line, takes a shot. Sorry, I don't know if he was trying to shoot or pass. It went off the stick of Hank Prosser into the netting above the glass. 10:06 to go in the second. Game is still tied at 1. Draws to Soundara's right. Won by MBA. Lawson Brown with a shot in the left point. Turned away by Soundara. Puck coming around to the near side boards. Henry Cravens sends it out to center, but it is kept away from Luke Doble. Or is that Heath Hudi? Correction, it's Hudi. Puck was brought back into the Nolensville zone for a moment. Cleared out. Now Henry Cravens out on the far side. Back into the NBA zone. Here's Charlie Bonner, left wing side. Trying to go to the slot. A shot. Knocked down by Trip Bland and no cover. 9:32 to go in the second. The game is still tied at 1. Now it's 2-1 Page as Talon Gill has gotten Insworth on the board. Draw is going to be to the right of Bland. Won by Nolensville, but given right away to MBA. Here's Cortland Klett. Into the Nolensville zone, handing it off to Andrew Freck. Put out in front for Klett. He tried to drop it back to Ethan Moore. Now here's Freck, top of the left circle shot. Just missed the net to the right of Soundara. Puck behind the net again. Put out in front, off the stick of Connor Mazzoni in the high slot, and out of the zone it goes. Mazzoni drops it back into the NBA zone for Henry Burke. Passes it to the near side. Nolensville will come back into the NBA zone on the left wing. Spencer Kern backhands it to the end boards. Puck came back to the Nolensville blue line, sent the other way by Emmett Zakos. Now Spencer Kern, left wing side of the NBA zone. Trying to pass to the front of the net. Carson Roganchik couldn't get his stick on it. Now the puck back near the Nolensville blue line, going back the other direction. Connor Mazzoni with it inside the NBA zone, behind his own net. Passes ahead to center, and Cortland Klett has it taken away. Emmett Zakos, left wing side of the NBA zone with a shot. Missed the net to the right of Trip Bland. Here's Ethan Moore banking it off the far boards, but it stays in the zone. Finally cleared out by Henry Burke. Here is Henry Cravens at center. Poked off his stick by Ethan Moore, but the puck ends up going into the NBA zone anyway. And here's Spencer Kern on the left wing, passing to the high slot. Carson Rakic a shot off a stick. A defensive NBA stick into the netting above the glass. 7:40 to go in the second. The game is still tied at 1. Draw is to the left of Trip Bland. Won by MBA, and actually it may have been won by Nolensville, went all the way down into the Nolensville zone. Here is Ben Campbell in his own right wing corner. Trying to send it up the boards, held in by Ethan Sides. Pass to the right circle, and one timed over the net from the dot by Matthew Moore. Puck cleared out up the near side. Here's Heath Hudi. Puck was in the NBA zone, cleared out. Now it's back in the Nolensville end. Trace Graham, left wing corner, backhanding it in front, but right to the stick of Cravens. Cravens passing up the near side to Campbell, Logan Campbell. Tried to pass across, hit the skates of Matthew Moore. And now Bonnert runs into Ethan Sides and falls over, and they're going to say that Sides may have gotten him with a stick too, or do we have a penalty? Or actually, no, it's not a penalty. I think it may have been offside against MBA. I thought they were going to call a penalty against Ethan Sides, but no. Offside against Nolensville. Offside against Nolensville, excuse me. 6:43 to go in the second. Game still tied at 1. Drawing the dot in front of the Nolensville bench. Won by the Big Red. And then sent the other way by Thomas Renegar from his own blue line. James Lehrman from his own inboards. Passing up the far side. Freck hands it off to Ethan Moore. Now Duke Dalba, left wing side of the Nolensville zone, drops it back to Ethan Moore. Tried to backhand it to the front of the net. Was knocked away by a stick, a Nolensville stick. Now the puck in the right circle. Emmett Zakos trying to clear it out. Held in by Dalba. Dalba backhands it to the slot, and Ethan Moore shot over the net into the netting above the glass. I think it may have gone off the stick of Luke Doble, who was back checking. Draw's going to be to the right of Soundara. Won by NBA. Shot from Trace Graham right into the glove of Soundara. Shooting from the top of the left circle. Draws to Soundara's right. Once again. Won by Nolensville. They try and clear. Held in by Graham. Shot from the blue line. Turned away by Soundara. Puck on the right half wall. Cortland Klett carrying it around. And drops it back to the right wing corner. Matthew Moore and Spencer Kern battling. And the puck sent out to center. Here is Jackson Malleus-Mayer. Soft dump into the NBA zone. And now there's a one-timer from the right point, and Henry Craven's blocked. Now it's a shot from the bottom of the right circle. Missed the net to the left of Bland. Nolensville holding the puck in. Spencer Kern shot in the right circle. Off the right leg pad of Bland, and he'll cover. He didn't know where the rebound was at first. He found it, and that's a good thing he did because Jackson Malleus-Mayer was making his way to the front of the net. 5:15 to go in the second. Game still tied at 1. Draw is going to be to the left of Bland. Won by Nolensville, but errant pass by Charlie Bonnet. Sees the puck go out to center. Thomas Renegar trying to pass it back the other way. Now it ends up back in the Nolensville zone. Brought out to center by Logan Campbell. Campbell tried to send it into the NBA zone. Hit the back of the skates of, I think, Ethan Moore, and then I think it ended up in the Nolensville bench. Draw's going to be on the dot in front of the Knights bench. Won by Nolensville and dumped into the NBA zone. Henry Burke with it. His pass went off a Nolensville stick, came all the way down the middle of the ice on goal, stopped and covered up by Soundara. Draw is to the left of Soundara. Won by Nolensville. Puck sent around the boards to the near side. With it is Connor Mazzoni in his own zone. Backhands it ahead to Andrew Freck. Freck back into the Nolensville zone. Whiffs on a shot attempt. Hangs onto the puck, then falls over in the left circle. Puck sent to the front of the net by Ethan Moore. Steered away by Soundara. And now Emmett Zakos has the puck, and he'll bring it out to center. Zakos back into the NBA zone on the left wing side. Hands it off Logan Campbell. Campbell in the left wing corner. Passes up to the left point. Zakos. Zakos a shot. Missed the net. High and wide to the right of Bland. Puck passed ahead to Andrew Freck out at center. Freck into the Nolensville zone on the left wing side. Tried to pass across to Matthew Moore off the stick of Henry Cravens. Came on goal. Had to be turned away by Soundara. Puck held in at the right point by Mazzoni. Cravens with it. Cleared out by Charlie Bonnet, but right to Matthew Moore at center. Moore brings it back into the Nolensville zone. Oh, and he got tripped by Charlie Bonnet. Shot from Cortland Klett off the left leg pad of Soundara. But there's going to be a penalty against Nolensville. Charlie Bonnet tried to poke the puck off the stick of Moore, and Moore tripped and fell over. And I believe this is the first power play of the game for MBA, tied at 1 with 3:39 to go in the second. It's now 3-1 Page over on Rink B, still in the second. Madden Chandler scoring for a second time. Draw was to the left of Soundara. Puck up against the right half wall on the far side. Now at the right point, Trace Graham. Pass across to the left point. Abe Lasher moves down the left wing a bit. A shot hit Soundara and bounced away from him in a big way. Puck held in at the right point by Graham. Ethan Moore tried to shoot and was blocked with a stick of Ben Campbell, who was standing right next to him. Puck cleared out of the zone by Henry Cravens, brought right back in by Abe Lasher on the right wing side. Lasher in the right circle. Pass to the top of the left circle, Moore. High slot, Trace Graham, shot blocked in front and cleared away from the net, but held into the blue line by Matthew Moore. Shot in the slot, stopped by Soundara. Rebound, stopped by Soundara. That was from Duke Dalba, and the puck cleared out on the near side by Cravens. Here's Trace Graham passing across to the near side. Now back to the middle of the ice, and Andrew Freck, James Lehrman back in the Nolensville zone, and a shot from Matthew Moore, top of the right circle, gloved and held on to by Soundara. Exactly a minute left on the NBA power play, 2:39 to go in the second, and we're still tied at 1. Draw will be to Soundara's left. Draw one by MBA. Here's Abe Lasher passing across to the right circle. Ethan Sides passing up to the right point. Trace Graham now to the left circle. Matthew Moore. Back up top to the center point. Abe Lasher back to the right point. Graham back to center point. Lasher passes down. And got it to the bottom of the right circle. And Ethan Sides deflected it across the front of the net. And Soundara backed into the net and dislodged it. Draw is going to be to the right of Soundara. One by MBA, Abe Lasher across to Trace Graham at the right point. Top of the left circle, Matthew Moore. Out to the high slot, Lasher a shot. Took a deflection, went past the net to the right of Soundara. 30 seconds left in the power play for MBA as Logan Campbell clears the puck out. No! Abe Lasher knocked it down with his hand, but then Heath Hewdy bumped into him and knocked it out of the zone. Lasher at center on the near side. Passing ahead to Ethan Side. Steps back into the Nolensville zone on the left wing side. Passes down to the left wing corner, and Matthew Moore back up to the blue line. And Lasher. Graham back to Moore. Bottom left circle, a shot. Steered away by Soundara with his stick handle. And the puck ends up being passed out to center by Graham as he was trying to go back to the blue line. And Lasher, penalty time against Nolensville, is up there back at even strength. Lasher, right wing side of the Nolensville zone. Has to go to the end boards. Leaves the puck behind him, and Zakos has it. Trying to chip it up the far side. Held in by Graham, who whiffed on it. Zakos tried to kick it out. Held in by Sides. Dumped back to the end boards. Thomas Renegar trying to send it around to the near side. He and Cortland Klett battle in the left wing corner. Logan Campbell brings the puck to center. Back into the NBA zone. To the slot in front of Eckhinder. I don't know if he ever got off the shot. Yes, he did. Bland made the save. Minute left in the second. Wow, Logan Campbell almost went from coast to coast and was only stopped by Trip Bland. Puck of the end boards. Coming around to the near side. Now it's sliding through center back towards the Nolensville blue line. Henry Cravens passing up the far side off the stick of Spencer Kern back into the NBA end on the left wing side. Puck on the left wing corner. 30 seconds left in the period. Carson Roganchik taking a shot. It's blocked. Puck stays in the zone. Puck now over on the right wing side, and it's poked away and out. Poked away from Ben Campbell. Now there's Duke Dalba in the Nolensville zone on the left wing side. Drops it back. Top of the right circle. Ethan Moore shot missed the net to the right of Soundara. Puck on the far side. Here's Henry Cravens. Firing it out of play on the near side. .9 seconds to go in the second. Still 1-1. Draw is going to be to the right of Soundara. Puck ends up behind the net, going to the right wing corner, and that is it for the second. Nolensville and Montgomery Bell came into this second period tied at 1. And that's the same score as they leave the second period of this Predators Cup first round game. I'll be back in a few seconds with the start of the third. But if you're listening on the YouTube podcast, we're going to go ahead and take you to the start of the third period. Ready to start the third period. Trip Bland still in goal for Montgomery Bell. Bingston Soundara still in goal for Nolensville for this third period. MBA will carry the puck from my left to right. Nolensville from my right to left. If we're still tied at the end of the third, we'll go to a 5-minute 3-on-3 sudden death overtime. And if that doesn't solve it, a shootout. As the third is underway. Puck in the NBA zone on the near side. Abe Lasher will get to it. Bank it off the boards and out. Puck sent back up the far side, back into the NBA zone. And again, quickly cleared out, this time by Trace Graham. Here's Matthew Moore, left wing side of the Nolensville zone. Tried to backhand it to the slot. Now the puck over in the right wing corner. It's behind the net, put out in front. Held in by Trace Graham at the blue line, and he shoots it over the net. Here is Abe Lasher at the right point with a shot, knocked down by the glove of Soundara. Puck passed out to the slot. Trace Graham, a shot blocked. Puck will be carried to center by Heath Hudie. Hudie knocked into the boards on the far side by Abe Lasher. Louis Jalovic clears the puck out of the NBA zone. Andrew Freck, left wing side of the Nolensville zone, passing to the blue line. Ethan Moore, a shot. Oh, hit the crossbar. Hit the crossbar, went into the air and hit the netting above the glass. .12:39 to go in regulation. Game still tied at 1. We've been tied at 1 since 13 and a half seconds left in the first when Spencer Kern scored on the power play. I guess they're saying somebody from Nolensville got a piece of it to redirect it onto the post because the draw is to the left of Soundara. Cleared out by Nolensville, right wing side of the NBA zone. Jackson Mallius-Miller with a shot. Stopped by Bland with his left leg pad. Puck sent back into the Nolensville zone, and Emmett Zakos ends up sending it into the netting above the glass on the far side, trying to get it out. Draw is going to be to the right of Soundara. One by Nolensville. Puck sent up the far side. Carson Roganchuk tried to clear it out, held in by Trace Graham. Correction, I think that might be Louis Jalovic. Puck ends up in the slot. Nolensville will take it and clear it out. Abe Lasher back in his own zone with it. Carries it to center on the near side. Lasher back into the Nolensville zone. Puck knocked off his stick, comes to the front of the net, knocked away. Now here's Spencer Kern back into the NBA zone. Shot from the bottom of the right circle off the left leg pad, I think, of Bland. I think it may have hit him. Yes, it did. They put it up on the board. Here is Abe Lasher back into the Nolensville zone, handing it off the left wing side. Duke Dalba, shot knocked down by the glove of Soundara. Puck still loose. It's behind the net. Dalba with it. Passing out to the right wing side, and Abe Lasher and his shot, I think, may have hit a body in front. I don't think it hit Soundara. And Henry Burke had to be having to be told to get out on the ice for a sub. He's got the puck in the right circle. A shot knocked away by Soundara. Hit him in the chest. Puck on the far side still. Sorry, now it's on the far side. And cleared out by Nolensville. Here's Spencer Kern back into the NBA zone. He's in the slot, takes a shot, blocked by the skates of Henry Burke. And we're going to have a penalty and interference call, it looks like, against NBA. And it's against Ethan Sides. So Nolensville back to the power play, game tied at 1, 10:43 to go in regulation. They're now in the third over on Rink B. Page Summit still leading Innsworth Lipscomb CPA 3-1. Draw to the right of Bland, won by NBA, and fire down ice by Abe Lasher. Soundara will leave it at his own inboards for Henry Cravens. Cravens passing up the far side. Now here's Spencer Kern back in the NBA zone. Lost the puck, and Matthew Moore clears it. Soundara will leave it behind his own net again, this time for Charlie Bonnert. And then Trace Graham gets hit in the left wing corner by, I think by Henry Cravens, away from the puck. And I think they're going to send Cravens to the box for tripping. It's Bonnert, actually. Bonnert was the one with the puck. Well, there goes the power play for Nolensville. So we'll have 4-on-4 for 90 seconds, 10:14 to go in regulation, still 1-1. Draw is going to be to Soundara's right, won by NBA, and pass over to Abe Lasher, went off his stick and out. He'll dump it back into the Nolensville zone, and the puck went into the netting above the glass. So they'll drop it on the bleachers, or drop it on the dot in front of the bleachers across from the Nolensville bench. Won by the Knights. Henry Cravens inside his own zone, under pressure from Ethan Moore, backhands it over to the near side, and Ben Campbell passed up the far side. Spencer Kern in the NBA zone, a shot off the right leg pad of Bland, who has to dive out and cover up the rebound. Draw is going to be to the left of Trip Bland. Puck goes to the inboards. Trying to hold it in at the blue line was Ben Campbell, but could not. Under a minute left in the 4-on-4 now. Matthew Moore, right wing side of the Nolensville zone. Passes out to the blue line. Louis Jalovic. Shot over the net from the center point. Puck brought back to center. Logan Campbell in the NBA zone. Goes to the front of the net. Oh, but puck got away from him as he was trying to go to his forehand. Minute left in the penalty against Charlie Bonnert. 30 seconds left in the 4-on-4 as the puck ends up being iced by NBA. 9:13 to go in regulation, and the game is still tied at 1. Draw is going to be to the left of Bland. It's won by the Big Red. Puck sent up the far boards, held in at the right point. Comes out to the high slot, and there's a shot stopped by Bland, and he has it in between his knees. That shot was from Emmett Zakos. Draw to the right of Bland. Won by NBA. Puck sent around the boards to the far side, held in by Thomas Renegar. James Lerman on the near side. Penalty time against NBA is up. They're now on the power play for 30 seconds. Puck in their zone. Ethan Sides on the near side at center. Back across Trace Graham, left wing side of the Nolensville zone. Try to pass to the front of the net. Matthew Moore with a backhander. Stopped by Soundara. Puck loose in the crease. Soundara has it covered. It started going over to his left, but he eventually pulled it in and kept Trace Graham away from it. 14 seconds left in the power play for NBA. 8:28 to go in regulation. The game is still tied at 1. Draw to the right of Soundara. Won by NBA, and a shot from the right point. Abe Lasher off a stick into the netting above the glass. And Ethan Moore crashed the net and crashed into Soundara, and they both went down. And Moore Skating back to the face-off circle to the right of Soundara, where the draw will take place. Soundara's fine. Draw one by the Knights. Penalty time against them is up. They're back at even strength. Henry Cravens out to center. Cravens back into the NBA zone. High slot shot missed. Whiffed on it. Luke Doble trying to back it over to Hank Prosser. Prosser sending it up the boards to the right point. Sent back around to the near side. Passed out to the blue line. Cravens. Cravens shot blocked by Ethan Moore, who was standing right in front of him. Ben Campbell with it. Trying to back into the NBA zone. It's cleared away. Nolens will have it back and send it back into the NBA end. Here's a Blasher backhanding it out on the near side. Trace Graham in the Nolensville zone at the left point. Setting it to the front of the net. Takes deflection off the stick of Andrew Frecka to be turned away by Soundara. Now here's Frecka again. Right circle shot over the net. Soundara may have gotten a piece of it. Puck at the right point. Now it's at the inboards. Cortland Klett trying to put it out in front. Soundara steers away. It comes back out in front anyway. And now the puck sliding through center, or sliding out of the zone back to center. Here's a Blasher. Back into the Nolensville zone on the left wing side. Taking a shot. Missed the net to the right of Soundara. It actually went off of one of his teammates and out. I think it was Henry Cravens on the back check there. 6:51 to go in regulation. The game is still tied at 1. Draw to the right of Soundara, won by NBA. And a shot from Trace Graham in the slot off a stick and past the net to Soundara's left. Puck still at the inboards. There's a battle for it. And it's out at center now. Spencer Kern brings it into the NBA zone on the right wing side. Trying to put it in front for Carson Roganchik, knocked away on the back check. I think by Matthew Moore. Pass ahead, Trace Graham going down. The Nolensville slot, a shot turned away by Soundara. Puck sent back into the Nolensville zone. Ooh, it went off the stick of Soundara, and I thought for a moment it was going to go into the net. It just missed to his right. Kern at center. Crosses the red line, dumps it back into the NBA zone. James Lehrman passing it up the near side to Freck. Andrew Freck. Back into the Nolensville zone on the right wing side. Trying to pass it up to the right point. It's intercepted by the Knights. Sent out to center, or cleared out to center. James Lehrman trying to dump it back in. Cortland Klett on the far side at center, passing back to the middle of the ice, and Andrew Freck sent back into the Nolensville zone. Knights clear it out from the left wing corner. Here's a Blasher. Pinned up against the far boards right at the red line on the bleacher side of the ice. And then the puck hops up in the air and lands right at that picnic area where the NBA broadcasters are, the NBA student broadcasters. And one of them needed 2 attempts to throw the puck back over the glass. All he had to do was open that door and just throw it back on. Draw's going to be right at center ice. 5:23 to go in regulation, still 1-1. That door does open. He could just open it up, toss the puck back out there instead of trying to throw it over the net. Won by NBA. Here's Ethan Moore, shot in the left wing, takes a block, came on goal. Soundara was falling backwards, had to clear it away from the net. Now Logan Campbell, left wing side of the NBA zone. Passed in front, but Charlie Bonnert was just about triple teamed. Clearing attempt by Cortland Klett, held in the zone, and then Bonnert with a shot from the right half wall, calmly steered away from the front of the net by Bland. Here's Klett, left wing side of the Nolensville zone. Drops it back. Duke Dalb's shot kicked away by Soundara with a right leg pad. Puck banked hard off the near boards and out to center. Here's Bonnert, left wing side of the NBA zone. Rounded defender. Backhands it in front. Logan Campbell couldn't get to it. NBA stick knocked it away from him. Puck's to the right point. Ethan Moore couldn't find it. Held into the blue line by Emmett Zakos. He backhands it to the near boards. Cleared out by James Lehrman. Brought back in by Kern. Kern, right circle shot, score! Spencer Kern from just inside the top of the right circle roofs it. His second goal of the game. And the first. In well over 20 minutes, no. Yeah, well over 20 minutes. And Nolensville have a 2-1 lead with 4:15 left in regulation. Draw one by Nolensville, turned over to NBA. Trace Graham shot in the bottom left circle, stopped by Soundara. Puck passed up the ice. Back into the NBA zone. Abe Lasher will carry it to center. Back into the Nolensville end. Passes to the far side. Odd angle shot from the bottom of the left circle from the left wing corner from Andrew Freck, turned away by Soundara. Nobody in a white sweater was there because Soundara kind of played it awkwardly. Puck going to be held in at the left point by Lawson Brown. His shot gloved and held on to by Soundara. 3:32 left in regulation, 2-1 Nolensville. Draw is going to be to the right of Soundara. One by Nolensville. Puck slapped around the wall and out. Slapped up the far side and out. And is going to come to a dead stop before it gets to the NBA goal line, so no icing. Puck is in the right wing corner. Coming up the boards. Andrew Freck gets it out to center, but he's pushed into the boards. Heath Udy sends it back into the NBA zone. And picked up by Logan Campbell. Shot in the right circle off the glove of Bland into the netting above the glass. That turned into a sudden scoring chance. And it was the glove of Bland that kept NBA down 1. And now the Big Red are going to use their timeout with 3:05 to go, trailing 2-1. 3:05 left in regulation. It is still 3-1 Page Summit over on Rink B. Nolensville and Page hang on and win their games. They will play each other next Wednesday night in a Preds Cup Winners Bracket semi. The Preds Cup Winners Bracket semis, as of this moment, would be the 3-seed Page, the 5-seed Franklin, the 7-seed Nolensville, and the 8-seed Station Camp. That is insane. It is insane that has happened. That is just crazy. Timeout done. Again, 3:05 left in regulation. Nolensville up 2-1. Draw is going to be to the left of Trip Bland. One by Nolensville. Here is Henry Craven sending it around the wall from the right point. Clearing attempt held in at the left point. Ben Campbell, a shot, missed the net to the right of Bland. NBA only down 1. They'll probably wait a couple more minutes to pull Bland. Another clearing attempt held in by Ben Campbell at the left point. He sends it down the left wing, intercepted and carried out by James Lehrman. Taken back by Nolensville and sent back into the NBA zone by Heath Udy. Andrew Freck drops it back behind his own net for Abe Lasher. Now Louis Jalovic back across to Lasher. Lasher back to center. Back into the Nolensville zone on the right wing side. Takes a shot off the right leg pad of Soundara. Puck went into the left wing corner, hit the referee and stopped. And that allowed Nolensville to get to it and clear it. It's going to go for an icing. No, it's waved off. That's kind of a shock. I thought that was an obvious icing. Puck carried back to the Nolensville blue line, and now Charlie Bonnert ices it with 1:52 left in regulation, and Nolensville up 2-1. Draws to the right of Soundara. Won by NBA. Puck in the right wing corner. Now Spencer Kern. Puck out on the far side and poked out to center. Sliding back into the NBA zone on the right wing side. Carson Roganchik gets to it, takes a shot that hits the outside of the post to the left of Bland. He had Jackson Malleus-Mira coming in the zone. He probably should have waited. Matthew Moore through center on the far side. Back into the Nolensville zone. Trying to get to the slot. Puck knocked off his stick by Cravens. Put it out in front. Actually passed to the right circle and fired over the net by Trace Graham. And it goes out of play. 76 seconds left in regulation. 2-1 Nolensville. They got to be getting close to the end. Yeah, they're close to the end over on Rink B. Oh, that sounds like the buzzer. So sounds like that one's over between Ensworth and Page. I'll wait for the game sheet to say unofficial final. And NBA have pulled Trip Bland. The net is empty. Draw to the left of Soundara. Extra attacker on for the Big Red. They win the draw. Trace Graham with the shot in the right point. Blocked in front. Puck drifting over to the far side. A Blasher shot blocked and cleared down ice by the Knights. Picked up by Graham inside his own zone. Minute left in regulation. Graham back into the Nolensville zone. Passes off. James Lehrman's shot. Missed the net. Well to the right of Soundara. Puck behind the net. Now it's sent around the wall to the far side and out. Ethan Moore will get to it inside his own zone. Moore whiffs, trying to pass it up the ice. Now he sends it up the near side. It's out at center. 30 seconds left in regulation. Here's Ethan Moore back into the Nolensville zone. Loose on the near side, smacked around to the far side. Here's A. Blasher, left point, a shot. Oh, I think it hit the post to the left of Soundara. May have just glanced off it. Puck back in the NBA zone. Lasher with 10 seconds left. Lasher back into the Nolensville zone. Takes a shot, turned away by Soundara with the right leg pad, and that's going to be it. Nolensville are into the winners bracket winners bracket semifinal. The 7th seed beating 2 seed NBA 2-1. And they will meet Page Summit, who beat Ensworth next Wednesday night at 8:45 here on Rink A. Well, my goodness. All right, let's enter these finals in on the bracket on brackethq.com. Man, what a weird. Only one of the top 4 seeds are in the winners bracket semis. That's the 3 seed Page Summit. They'll take on 7 seed Nolensville, while Franklin, the 5 seed, take on 8 seed Station Camp Liberty Creek Nashville Christian. All right, the goal scorers in this one. Trace Graham had the only goal of the game for NBA. Spencer Kern had both of Nolensville's goals. And he is going to split player of the game with Bingston Soundara, who had 36 saves and 37 shots. So Spencer Kern and Bingston Soundara are co-players of the game as Nolensville win this one 2-1. And they're into the winners bracket semis. And NBA will play Ensworth in an elimination game on Monday. So the first round of the Pretz Cup is done. And let's go over all the final scores from tonight. Station Camp Liberty Creek Nashville Christian beating Ravenwood 7-4. Again, the first time ever that the GNASH Cup winners have lost their Preds Cup opener since the GNASH Cup became the regular season champions award in the 2010-11 season. Page Summit beating Ensworth Lipscomb CPA 3-1, and just now Nolensville beating Montgomery Bell 2-1. Here's the schedule for the rest of the week and next week. Tomorrow night on the North Rink in Antioch, it's the Hein Cup opener, 1 versus 8 Father Ryan, the defending champs, taking on 8 seed the Rutherford Rampage. I don't think Father Ryan will have any trouble winning that one. They beat the Rampage 8-0 2 months ago. Then next week, Monday, the first round of the Hein Cup wraps up. 6:30 on the Terry Chris Brink in Bellevue. Brentwood, BAUSN, the 6th seed, taking on 3 seed Tennessee Outlaws. At the same time, over on Rink B here at Centennial, 7 seed Clarksville Kings taking on 2 seed Independent Centennial. Clarksville beat Indy back in October. 7:40 here on Rink A at Centennial, the first Preds Cup elimination game. 4 seed Hendersonville beats Lawson, taking on 1 seed Ravenwood. 8:15 on Rink B here at Centennial. The 4-5 game in the Hein Cup opening round. 5 seed Mount Juliet Wilson Central Lebanon taking on 4 seed JP2 MLK GCS. And then 8:15 on the Terry Chris Brink in Bellevue, the other first round losers bracket first round game in the Preds Cup. 6 seed Ensworth Lipscomb CPA taking on 2 seed Montgomery Bell. Next Tuesday at 8:30 on the North Ring in Antioch, the first elimination game in the Hein Cup. The Rampage Father Ryan loser taking on the Mount Juliet JP2 loser. Then next Wednesday, all the games here at Centennial, 7:10 here on Rink A. The first Preds Cup winners bracket semi between 8 seed Station Camp Liberty Creek Nashville Christian and 5 seed Franklin. Over on Rink B at 8:30, the second game in the losers bracket, first round of the losers bracket for the Hein Cup. The Outlaws Brentwood loser taking on the Clarksville Indy loser. And at 8:45 here on Rink A, the other Preds Cup winners bracket semi, 7 seed Nolensville taking on a 3 seed Page Summit. And then next Thursday on the North Rink in Antioch, the first Hein Cup winners bracket semifinal between the Rampage Father Ryan winner and the Mount Juliet JP2 winner. So I was planning on doing that Monday doubleheader at the Terry Chris Brink, but now that the first elimination game in the Preds Cup pits the 4 seed Hendersonville against the 1 seed and GNASH Cup winners Ravenwood, I've changed. So on Monday, we're going to be back here at Centennial and Rink A, 7:35 pregame for a 7:40 face-off between Hendersonville and Ravenwood. Then next Wednesday, we'll be back here on Rink A for that winners bracket semi-doubleheader, 7:05 pregame for a 7:10 face-off between Station Camp and Franklin. And then 8:40 pregame for an 8:45 face-off between Nolensville and Page. And then next Thursday, we'll be in Antioch again, an 8:40 face-off for an 8:40 pregame for an 8:45 face-off between either the Rampage or Father Ryan and Mount Juliet or JP2. All right. Before we get off the air for the week, I want to give an on-air shout-out to a few folks. Google Sheet, because I know it's a lot of people. It is a lot of people. All right. Want to give a shout-out to Bree and Hayden Bland, parents of Trip Bland. Glenn Bland, grandfather of Trip Bland. Jenny and Greg Dalba, parents of Duke Dalba. Don and Stacy Graham, parents of Trace Graham. Victor Bonnert, father of Charlie Bonnert. Tom and Marcia Cravens, parents of Henry and Annie Cravens. Tori and Ludo Roganchik, parents of Carson Roganchik. And Bing and Lisa Soundara, parents of Bingston Soundara. They all bought our package of perks, our Buy Me a Coffee membership that gets them that sees them have their name published in the newsletter every day. Well, almost every day, which is published almost every day. They're getting this on-air shout-out for any and all Montgomery Bell and Nolensville games that I broadcast, and they're going to get this and any and all Montgomery Bell and Nolensville games I broadcast as downloadable MP3s. We are no longer selling the full season memberships because I don't want you paying that much money for 5 weeks of action. The target end date for the playoffs now looks like, I guess, March 4th for the if necessary games. The first championship games initially scheduled for March 2nd on the Terry Crisp rink in Bellevue. Hopefully we won't get any more winter weather between now and then that pushes everything back again. I'm guessing the All-Star game will be the following week to end the season. But we are selling playoff-only membership packages for those of you that didn't buy a full season membership and you want to get one for cheap. Here's your chance. Offering 2 packages. You just have your name listed in the newsletter, or you get the package of perks. Your name listed in the newsletter, an on-air shout-out for any and all games I broadcast of the team that you support, and a downloadable MP3 of any and all games of the team that you support. Just go to buymeacoffee.com, buymeacoffee.com/mid10sportsnet, MIDTNSPORTSNET. And in that top left-hand corner where it says Support Middle Tennessee Sports Network, enter either $7.50, which is for the newsletter mention only, or $15 for the package of perks. Again, that's buymeacoffee.com, buymeacoffee.com/mid10sportsnet, MIDTNSPORTSNET. And that's it. A busy first week of February. 3 straight nights of broadcasts are complete. But we'll be busy again next week with broadcasts on Monday, Wednesday, and next Thursday. Apologies to the Outlaws in Brentwood, but that Hendersonville-Ravenwood game is an elimination game and it's too big because it's a top 4 seed getting knocked out of the Preds Cup. Weird year gets even weirder. Either a promising season for Hendersonville is going to end, or Ravenwood are going to become the first GNASH Cup winners ever to be eliminated from the Preds Cup without winning a game. We're going to have a surprise elimination on Monday night. All right, on our finals tonight, Station Camp Liberty Creek Nashville Christian 7, Ravenwood 4, and just now Nolensville 2, Montgomery Bell 1. As the first round of the Predators Cup is in the books, 4 teams staying in the winner's bracket, 4 teams down to the loser's bracket. I'm Michael Hackney. Thank you all so much for listening. Have a great rest of your week and weekend, and we'll talk to you Monday right back here from Centennial at 7:35 as Hendersonville and Ravenwood stare at the edge of the cliff.